So we are officially less than 24 hours away from Nintendo's E3 Direct presentation, as it will be taking place tomorrow morning at the time of filming this video, and we have to cover some last minute updates around things like the new Nintendo Switch Pro from GameStop, and most importantly, a final breakdown of predictions of what we can expect from Nintendo at their 2021 E3 showcase. What's up, Nation? If it's your first time on the channel, make sure you join Sunbro Nation by subscribing below, hit the like button on this video if you enjoy it today, and make sure you turn on your bell notification icon so you're kept up to date with all the newest gaming news. Now, obviously, guys, if you are a Nintendo fan, there is a lot of reason to be hyped for tomorrow's E3 presentation that we know to be at least a full 40 minutes of new gameplay reveals specifically for Nintendo Switch software, and that is kind of where I want to start today's video, because you may have seen a bunch of different headlines yesterday that stated that GameStop has leaked the new Nintendo Switch, and while that did make a lot of headway and got a lot of discussion going back and forth online, I want to quickly cover that before we do cover the second half of the video, which will be more of a breakdown of what we are expecting from Nintendo's E3 as kind of some final predictions before we walk forward into this event. But to start off with the GameStop news, there was essentially an ad that came out yesterday that did show that you would be able to trade in systems right now and get extra credit towards a new Xbox Series S or X or a new Nintendo Switch, which was a big deal just simply for the fact that GameStop labeled this as new Nintendo Switch with a capital N, which is specifically what set everybody off, because if you look over past ads, they have used this exact wording before but without a capital N, and new Nintendo Switch would be a name that you could expect from a company like Nintendo, considering especially since that's what they did with the 3DS. And while I myself certainly hope that's not what Nintendo names this thing, I do think that it's one of those things that's totally possible for them to do. Like, we probably will be talking about a Switch revision when it is officially announced, and it might very well be called New Nintendo Switch, as I just think that's Nintendo likes to follow a formula of what works, and I think they kind of felt like the new 3DS was at least somewhat successful, and it's kind of sending that message of not totally changing generations, but at least enhancing it, and that's obviously what we're expecting with this Switch revision. But my 2 cents on this entire scenario is, while it is possible that we're going to get a out of the blue Switch Pro announcement that might drop tomorrow during their Direct, I think Nintendo, as much as they don't like to address rumors and speculation from crowds, like obviously if you look at Nintendo of America's Twitter, almost any post that they share out, everybody's tweeting back and saying, where's the Switch Pro? So they're not going to acknowledge that, but the way that they kind of did acknowledge that, in my opinion, is setting the expectation ahead of time in their tweet that specifically said that this will be focused exclusively on software, and if they do drop hardware, they're going directly against what they set the expectations for at this event. So here's where I'm at with this entire thing. I think GameStop probably screwed up with the font on this ad. It could be for the new Nintendo Switch Pro. I personally don't think it will be, and I don't think we're getting it at E3 either. I do very much believe it's real though, and I do think that it's going to be around the corner, probably through the more of the later months in the summer, maybe even like an August reveal, like the beginning of August, and then we know it's coming out at either the end of September or October to try to help them hit that holiday window. I do believe all of the rumors that are going around, because you have major publications like Bloomberg reporting on it. There's a lot of different things happening in supply chains right now with the manufacturing of this console. So will it get announced? Yes, it will. When will it get announced? Probably later in the year is my personal prediction, as I didn't really think it was gonna come before E3 to begin with until that Bloomberg article, and Machizuki actually specifically said it's likely to, and that was very surprising to me, because I feel like Nintendo is one of those companies that keeps the cards very close to their chest until they are fully ready to revamp and roll it out, and I think that's what we see with the Switch Pro here. So I think we get it a month or 2 months, maybe even as long as 3 months before the official launch window for whatever the Switch revision will actually be. But if you're seeing a bunch of news headlines saying that GameStop has officially leaked the new Nintendo Switch Pro, it is possible, but I don't think that that's what happened here with this one. So I'm not setting my expectations to see a Switch Pro at this E3 presentation. What I am expecting to see at this E3 presentation, though, is a ton of phenomenal games, and I do think that we have, obviously Microsoft at this point in time has won E3 up to this point, as they had a fantastic 90-minute showcase with almost exclusively all new games that are coming to Game Pass, and they really set the stage for what a great E3 presentation showcase can look like. And I still think that even in Nintendo's 40-minute presentation that they have an opportunity to win it and steal the show, as they had a very light 2020, and I think we have a ton of exciting games to look forward to in the rest of 2021, and as they stated in their tweet, even a few titles that will probably be outside of that, as they said it will mainly be 2021 games, but there will be some to look forward to in 2022 and beyond. So what type of games would Nintendo need to deliver to technically win E3? In my eyes, well, I think it has to be a stacked full showcase, and if Nintendo just shows some love to the amazing IPs that they already have established and created, I think that they will be good to go. Now, there's going to be a lot of talk on these predictions about the rumors that have been floating around, because I do tend to believe a lot of them, and the first one that I do think is a safe prediction is that we will get a Donkey Kong announcement at this Direct, and it's either 2.5D or 3D. I personally hope they throw us a curveball and it is a 3D Donkey Kong experience, but it could more than likely still be 2.5D, as that is what most of the reports are saying around the game. I would really love to see them somehow pull off a blend of both of them together. I know that's asking a lot, but I think if you could, have sections of the game that feel like the classic Donkey Kong Country platforming style experience in 2D, but then have a whole nother portion of the game that is more open exploration, and obviously you have reports of this being developed by the Mario Odyssey team, who does a fantastic job with 3D platformers, one of the few companies that can actually really pull off effective 3D platformers. I do think that hopefully there are sections of the game, or at least part of the game, if not the majority of the game, in 3D. So I'm expecting Donkey Kong to be announced in some form or fashion at the event, and then also just to cover a quick few ones that we're probably going to for sure see at least talked about. Bayonetta 3, I think it's time for that. Splatoon 3 is another one that I think we could see maybe a follow-up trailer, as we do know that that will be a 2022 title, so I don't think they'll show us a bunch of stuff, but they may give us some kind of update around it. And then I think from there, it could be something just like, to transition into the middle of the event, and we get like the Smash character DLC announcement. Now, we have 2 characters remaining for this overall fighter pass to supposedly close out the DLC for Smash Bros. So which 2 are they going to be? Who knows? I think we get at least one of them for sure, obviously. I'll be interested to see if they do actually reveal both, as there are some people who claim that they do think that Nintendo will be revealing both characters and not just one. But I think we for sure get one announcement. Could be Crash Bandicoot, could be Master Chief, which would be huge for the Microsoft partnership, as we did not see Microsoft mention anything in the way of a partnership with Nintendo at their showcase, which is big in and of itself. So is Master Chief coming to Smash? That could totally happen. Then you could also have something like a Waluigi, which I think would be a fan favorite if they did add him into the mix as well. Or hopefully, because it is Zelda's 35th anniversary, maybe we at least see some kind of extra Zelda character added in, like a Champions character from Breath of the Wild or something to that effect. So I am excited to see what the Smash character reveal is going to entail. I'm sure we'll get at least one tomorrow. But then from there, I do think that we will absolutely, I'm very confident in this prediction. I think we're getting a 2D Metroid, guys. I think that's the safest bet. I think it's the one that out of Zippo's leak list, when he said a lot of things could happen, that was the one he said is 100% done from Mercury Steam, and it's ready to go. And it's just simply time for Metroid to make its debut on the Switch console, and I think a 2D Metroid classic style game would be excellent for the way for it to make its debut on the Switch before we get into things like the farther prediction, which will be a Metroid Prime Trilogy release, as I do hope that they absolutely unveil that on the Switch. I don't necessarily have the highest hopes for it to be at E3. Maybe in like a September Direct we see that announced, and then we know that, early to middle 2022 is when to expect Metroid Prime 4, because I think the Prime Trilogy lines up with the announcement of Prime 4, because they're going to want to get the fan base ready by playing the classic games that made Metroid Prime such a big name to begin with. So that's what I'm thinking around Metroid. I think you could take a 2D game to the bank. Prime Trilogy would be icing on the cake. I sure hope we do get that, but I'm not holding my breath for it. And then if they talk about Metroid Prime 4 at all, I will be like totally thrilled, because I don't think my expectations are there for them to really dive into it. But even if they give us some kind of trailer about it and something in engine, or better yet, even just in the world that it's in, you know, I would love to see that. But I'm definitely not making the prediction that we will see that. I do think that that's less likely on the list of these other predictions we've covered so far. Then from there, we have to talk about the very, very big event that we either will or will not see focused on at this Nintendo Direct, and that is Zelda's 35th anniversary. And if you guys have been following along on the channel for very long at all, you will know that leading into E3, I did actually think Nintendo would do a full-on 35th anniversary celebration, and it would be part of the event. Then as time went on and we really hadn't heard anything about them potentially maybe planning a Zelda event, we figured maybe it's just going to have its own separate Direct further down the line, and I started to believe that more. Then you had this entire GameStop promotion, which is just out of left field. We still don't know entirely, other than console restocks, why they need to have double staff on Tuesday and Wednesday. But then they have this promotion going on right now, which is officially live. We covered it when it first broke, as far as it being a rumor of when it would go live based on other leakers and people who had reported that it would be coming, and we did talk about it then. Well, now GameStop, in their weekly ad, which is also what got that Switch Pro discussion going again, did actually state that with $30 of Zelda merch purchased or a new Nintendo Switch console, you get a Legend of Zelda commemorative poster. Now, it does not say 35th anniversary on it anywhere. It almost looks like the same style artwork that they used from the 30th. And then I do want to point out, for people who think that this is just recycled artwork from the 30th anniversary, this is also the artwork that's on the Legend of Zelda's primary Nintendo page, so it seems like it's kind of something that they're sticking forward with as we do, you know, progress into the future of this series. And it's one of those handout posters that it's like, why does GameStop just have this all of a sudden with all these different forms of Link on it? And it definitely seems like it's referencing, you know, the history of Zelda. So why do they have that the same week that we're expecting Nintendo to go live at their Direct? Well, I think it's because we're getting some sort of acknowledgement of the 35th anniversary, and the most likely scenario is that we get the Twilight Princess and Wind Waker remasters ported to the Switch, hopefully as a combo pack, which I do now believe at this point that they will be. And then you have the wild card in there that maybe Ocarina of Time gets thrown into this pack as well. There's no telling if they're going to tackle the 3 games thing like they did for Mario, or if they're going to leave this as a double pack, but the safest bet is Wind Waker and Twilight Princess, and the wild card, I would say, for this collection pack is Ocarina of Time. So at this point, I am expecting Nintendo to at least acknowledge Zelda's 35th anniversary. If it's not at this event, I will expect it at a future Direct, as I absolutely believe they're celebrating it. But I just think the timing with GameStop getting this poster and having this promotion randomly around the Legend of Zelda and this potential double staff date coming up, it's all too much to not at least have something planned around Zelda's 35th anniversary. Then from there, the big show closer, and I've been saying this all the way through and through, I think the one more thing, the last announcement, the trailer that's going to close the show will be Breath of the Wild 2 with some gameplay in there and with an official release window. And does that mean 2021 or 2022? That's what I'll be very excited to see tomorrow, because I still think there's a shot that this game does get released in 2021, but there's been a lot of conflicting information from people saying that it is a 2022 title. So I'll be very curious to see. I think either way, we get either a release date or at least the release month, because maybe they're just going to say March 2022, or they will say March 31st, 2022 if it is a 2022 game. If it's a 2021 game, then I'm going to expect it in late October or early November. So there's going to be a lot to look forward to tomorrow. I mean, my hype level is probably as high as it has been up to this point for a Nintendo Direct. Now, there are a few games that, you know, leakers have covered that they thought may be coming. I personally am not expecting different things from like the Mario series, like Mario Party. I don't think we'll see that. I mean, it could be, but I feel like that's maybe a little bit of a future game. Mario Kart, or even just the new 3D Mario announcement, I think that those will come at some point in time, but I don't know that it's quite ready for this Direct yet. So it's fun to make these predictions, but tomorrow is the day that we finally get all the big announcements that we're waiting for. So at this point in the video, guys, I want to know your opinions on everything you think we're going to see. Make sure that you let me know. Are you planning on watching it live as soon as it goes live in the morning tomorrow at 9 a.m. Pacific time or 11 a.m. In Central time where I'm at, or 12 p.m. Eastern time. So make sure you're in front of your computer if you are planning on watching it live, but share your thoughts on what we're going to see there, what you're most excited about, and then most importantly, let me know if you think we're seeing a huge blowout event with all these major titles, or if your expectations are just a little bit lower and you think it'll just kind of be an average E3 presentation. And then I would also love to know if you guys think we're getting Switch Pro hardware announced in this E3 window or season, or if you think that that's something that's saved off later for late summer or early fall. So share all your thoughts on that stuff with me in the comments down below, as I do look forward to get a back and forth conversation started with you guys. And then also hop over to the community tab on the channel, where I will be asking you some final last minute predictions around the E3 event and what you think we will see from Nintendo. Thanks so much for watching the video today, everyone. I do truly appreciate you all sticking around until the end. I do at this point in the video want to invite you all one more time to join Sunbro Nation if you haven't done so already. Do so by subscribing below, hit the like button on your way out if you enjoyed it today, and make sure you turn on your bell notification icon so you're kept up to date with all the newest gaming news. That's going to do it for me, guys. I hope you all have a great day. Sunbro Nation, out.